Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Superfed TV Presents Rebel Action. I am covering foul language, and joining me today is the very special admin, Hindis. Hindis, how are you doing?
Yeah, doing pretty well. It's
Good.
been a yeah.
We're going to jump into your most recent match against Kejirus, but you don't have to worry about watching it. It's just going to play in the background while we talk a little bit. But why don't you give us a brief little introduction of who you are and where you're from, and you don't have to go as specific as you, or you can go as specific as you'd like, and then how you got into Blood Bowl.
Well, some people know me as Hindus. In Blood Bowl, I'm called Hindi, and some people know me as the Puffin as well. So just pick the name you like. I'm a guy from Germany, Bavaria specifically, if you're curious, and currently playing in Division 4 of G-Man, and doing well so far, if I might add so myself.
Yeah, how long have you been playing with the Rebel?
Rebel only since last season, so
Oh, okay.
still fairly new.
You were on the fast track to becoming an admin. Did you play in the rookie league at all?
Nope, I went straight to Rebel.
Nice. And how long have you been playing Blood Bowl?
About since the release of Blood Bowl 2. It's actually been the only Blood Bowl game I've played yet.
Well, that's interesting. What got you into the game, or how did you find it?
Well, originally I think it was a sale on Steam, and a friend recommended it to me. He's actually playing as well in Rebel. He's called Verovem, so basically it's his fault.
Nice. That's cool.
And since I'm a fan of strategy games and stuff like that, I like the game actually a fair bit.
Did you ever play like Warhammer, or were you familiar with this, or did you just think, all right, fantasy world with football?
Well, of course, I heard of Warhammer, but didn't play anything specifically in that direction yet. I like fantasy settings, so it fit fairly well.
That makes sense. Very cool. And what was the first team that you played?
I think the first team that I played was Dwarves.
Ooh.
The very first team.
And what was your first love, we'll say? The team that you really enjoyed and sunk a lot of time into?
Well, that has to be Lizards.
Okay.
Basically, I like to control the pitch, and I found out fairly quickly that while Dwarves are fairly good at that, they are pretty slow. And then there were those cool-looking Lizards who are strong and fast and especially good at controlling the pitch.
Some might even say overpowered.
Well, I wouldn't quite say overpowered. They do have their counters.
Yeah, I think they're at their weakest in a perpetual, league like ours where there's no, end game in sight, and bash teams can just kind of get really developed, and then Lizards, they don't. They scale well. They play good at just about any TV if they're at full strength, but when they're not at full strength, they suffer.
Yeah, once you get into playing claw teams, and if you lose the first few Sauruses, it can end very quickly in a spiral, and it's very hard to get out of that.
Yeah, absolutely. So what is your favorite player in all of Blood Bowl on any team?
Favorite player? Since I'm a Lizard coach, I actually have to go with the Saurus, since it's actually pretty damn versatile for strength 4 piece.
That's true. Compared to like a Black Orc, it has a lot of different options.
Yeah, you can basically build it into anything you want, maybe except the ball carrier. At least I don't like Saurus ball carriers. You still could do it.
Yeah, Agi2, Surehand Saurus. I've seen it several times. It's weird.
Well, who needs that? You just need to make a 5+ to get the ball to him anyway.
Yeah. That's fair. Yeah, you can score a lot of touchdowns on Saurus. Let's go ahead and jump back to a question from the audience, and we'll go back and forth for the rest of this. There's so many bird questions. I guess let's just start with that before I go to an audience question. Tell us about the Puffin and how that became to be a favorite of yours.
Well, I guess it's all started at university. I am studying biology, and it's basically I'm a little more advanced, and I'm what would you call it? I'm an assistant in animal identification course, and it was bird day. Now, all the birds there are supposed to be from Germany, and that's what the new students learned. And all those birds are basically dead birds who got preserved and stuffed out. Don't quite know the term in English, but
Fossilized?
that they have to look at the birds and find out which bird it is.
Mm-hmm.
And we also have a puffin sitting around. So one day I decided to mix it in there, and it was very enjoyable to see the confused new students trying to find out what a puffin was. And well, that's basically how I came to like the puffin.
Okay. And you've just kind of always been talking about that and bringing that along with you. I guess it became a thing in the Rebel too. How did that come to be?
Well, I picked the puffin as a Discord picture because I think it fits pretty well. And then one day I met a guy called Hindi with an Y on the Discord. He's playing in a rel. And well, I went ahead and said, "Hey, who is this imposter? Who is trying to imitate me here?" And he didn't have a picture yet. And then Metal came along and called it a toucan. It went back and forth a little bit, and after a while, the other Hindi, suddenly had a toucan picture. And well, from there we got to the bird fight, or whatever you would like to call it.
Yes, the bird war. So many questions about the bird war. So, was the bird war your idea, or was it Hindi's idea?
It was my idea. I think I started the whole thing.
Let's go for the name fight, as it was. SB Dwiggy would like to know if there's going to be a annual name fight with bets each time, or what does the future hold for the name fight as it was?
Well, I'm still not quite sure how it's going to go. At the moment, it might be a little bit boring since Hindi re-rolled into a fresh Skaven team, and that would hardly be a fair fight, I'd say, at the moment. So
for you, right? Because Skaven are overpowered.
Yeah, exactly. I guess I'm open to doing more of that kind of stuff in the future. At the moment, I just haven't found the time to organize anything like that, and well, we'll see what the future holds.
Related again, and there's so many of these bird war questions, so I'll try and get through some of these. Bear would like to know if puffins go extinct, which bird would represent you in the bird wars? What's your runner-up bird?
Just because a bird goes extinct doesn't mean you can't like it. For example, there's the dodo, and the dodos are great. But to answer the question, the backup bird would probably be... I don't know the name of it in English, but it's called the Neuntöter in German. It's basically a bird who picks up his prey and puts it on thorns and lets it dry out in the sun and then comes back later to eat it.
That's awesome. That's pretty metal. Very cool. Gerber would also like to know if you use a Puffin browser or if you are a fake Puffin lover.
I don't quite know if there is a Puffin browser. Usually I use Firefox.
That's fair. I'm a Chrome guy, but man, does it destroy RAM. Let's see. Again, a Gerber question. What's your favorite non-bird animal?
My favorite non-bird animal. Again, all those tough questions.
Mm-hmm.
I know a lot of animals. Well, there are some pretty cool insects. Let me Google quickly how that one is called. in English, it's Fauchschabe in German. It's basically a roach.
Yeah, you
which
and your
is
cockroaches.
that was Crusader's fault, okay? But basically, it's a roach about palm-sized, a little bit smaller, but to get uh, an idea, it's called the Madagascar hissing cockroach in English. And if this cockroach is scared or wants to communicate with other cockroaches, it hisses, basically like a cat when it's angry.
Well, that sounds lovely.
Yeah, I got a bunch of them as pets.
Nice. That's a weird pet. Chaos Bulu would like to know if you knew prior to the name fight that your team had a huge advantage over Hendy's.
Well, actually, I thought I was at a disadvantage. I faced Necromantic, which are in general fairly good against lizards. Now, I knew my team was well developed, and Hindi, the other guy, wasn't doing quite as well as me in his first season. So I guess it's a mixed bag. I expected it to be a close game.
That's good. Let's see. If you were to roll a different team other than lizards to play in the Rebel, what would you expect it to be?
All those tough questions. Now, I am open to the idea for an in-between season of halflings. I enjoy throwing halflings around. I like that. But if we're talking about a more serious team, I'd have to say maybe a more control-y Nurgle team. So less about the killing stuff, more about getting block guards than firm. Basically very similar to how I built my lizards.
Sure, that makes sense. You like the control style. Is there a team that you've heard about that maybe not is out yet or released that you would like to see released or that you would like to play?
Well, the problem is, as I only played Blood Bowl 2, I don't know much about the other teams that are out there. So I guess I'd like a different style of control team or anything fun.
I'm in the similar boat where I came into it, in Blood Bowl 2 only, but I have heard of some other teams, and I think
I know there's Corner or
like Simeon,
stuff like that.
like
but I've no idea what players they have.
A lot of grab actually, which could lead to some fun control play.
Yeah, could be interesting.
Yeah,
or grab can be a very underrated skill on the right player.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think we see enough of it. Probably because there's so many other good skills to take on that are just consistently reliable, but you see it on dwarves and such. But I think there's other teams that, instead of getting Mighty Blow on 8 players, if you get grab on one of them, it might be fun.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of a Mighty Blow spam myself.
Yeah. Iron Master would like to know, who do you think is the best coach in all of the Rebel?
Who do I think is the best coach? Now, it's difficult to say. I definitely have a lot of respect for Gerber when he's playing.
When he's playing, not when he's not playing.
Yeah, from what I saw from him playing would probably be the better term. Other than that, I mean, I didn't play that many coaches yet in Rebel. And it's always different when you play them yourself or if you're watching them on stream. So
it's true.
I guess I'd go with Gerber.
That's fair. Shador would like to know if you would take Mighty Blow on your first level 3 Saurus if you were stranded on a desert island with no tackle in sight.
Now, the background to that question is that over in the Rookie League server, we often have a discussion about if you either should go Mighty Blow or Tackle after block on your first level 3 Saurus. And I'm very much in favor of going Tackle. But I guess if I'm on a stranded island without tackle, I'd be willing to go Mighty Blow.
That sounds fair. Random Link would like to know, will Hindis finally move the plant in his house blocking the vision of his binoculars?
Now, that guy is actually Hindi, and he is stalking me, at least on the Discord.
That makes sense. The Team
So,
Festering Source. Yeah, I just played them last night.
Oh, how did it go?
Next question. It was a dumpster fire. It was bad. You should watch that if you enjoy salty streams. I think is the best way to put that. A lot of screaming and yelling, and as Rusty Seabutter put it, it's a side of Superfed that he had never really seen before until I played Kislev. But I'm not as chill as when I play Orcs.
Yeah, it's definitely a different kind of flavor playing Kislev.
Yeah. Yeah, that game. Let's see. Blooded Cat would like to know, how can you sleep at night knowing you are infringing upon Hindi's name?
Actually, pretty well, since he's infringing on my name. And I mean, I showed it. He had a different name for a month. Yeah, I won the bird war, so
It's true.
I rightfully claim the proper name.
ArchXL likes to ask this question. It's come up a couple times. Would you rather coach a team with one Bull Centaur-sized Snotling or 11 Snotling-sized Bull Centaurs? And how we decided, I think this is supposed to work in the past, was a Strength 4 Snotling or 11 Snotlings that are, what would this be? They'd all be Snotling strength, so strength 1, but they would have like strength access.
Okay.
And like start with sure feet and thick skull and all those full centaur skills.
Now, are they 11 Snotlings? Do they have Snotlings models or do they have Bull Centaur models?
They are Snotling sized Bull Centaurs, so they're gonna have Bull Centaur models. They're really tiny Bull Centaurs.
Well, then I'd probably go with that, because you could make a lovely My Little Pony theme out of that.
Good answer. Good answer. Let's see. More bird stuff. What was your favorite match you've ever played in? What made it stand out from all the rest? And this is a question from Motley, coach of the Booze Cruise.
Okay, also a hard question. So, the playoff game against Miros Kardut, certainly in the top 3, I'd say, since,
That was a fun
playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really close and very entertaining. Another game that comes to mind is probably the clan game against Gerber. I lost, no small thanks to a root pitch invasion, which knocked out all my front line.
Oh yeah, that was a crazy game. I actually saw the stream of that.
So I guess either one of those. It's hard to. For some reason, both are lizard mirrors, but
It's true. It's true. Let me ask you. Actually, you just said something that made me think about it. Tell me how the playoffs, seemed and feel to you. Like, do you get the same buzz and energy and excitement from playoffs? You came in a couple seasons after me, but for me, like the Rebel playoffs are what really, really sold the league for me as something that I really wanted to do a long time. How did you feel about watching the playoffs and being a part of the casting of the playoffs, especially this past season? Tell me a little bit about that.
yeah, I definitely like having a playoff at the end of your season, and because if it's only season after season, it just becomes a grind to get to the top division. And I like having a final tournament to make out the best. And there are a lot of good coaches in the playoffs, and it's really fun to see them face off. So I'm a big fan of the playoffs. A lot of hype is involved. Surprisingly, I feel the most hype about the earlier rounds, because there are a lot of matches and some great matchups between two coaches. And towards the end, it then trickles down a little bit when we get to the semifinals, because only 2 games per week, and then it goes straight back up again to the final because it's the final.
Mm-hmm.
I guess this season the final was a little bit of a letdown. I enjoyed the season before more with the North of, simply because, well, it was over by halftime if we're honest.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I really like playoff and the whole format behind it with everyone getting a shot at it.
Yeah, I agree. Actually, playoff related question, when not intentional. Herringzord would like to know, every season we see a bunch of Lizardmen teams make it to the playoffs, and every season they're all taken out before they get anywhere near the final. Can the Lizards ever win the Super Bowl again? What do you think it'll take?
Okay, that's one reason I think why lizards often drop out during the first few rounds is that it's usually lizard teams who haven't quite gotten the core development down yet. It's often lizard teams who have a lot of sources with only block or maybe even a few sources with no skills at all. And they have a bunch of good skins which carried them through the season, which is natural.
Mm-hmm.
But you need that core strength of your sources to be able to challenge the claw teams, because if you don't have well-developed sources, the claw teams in the end will just walk over you and kill half your team by halftime. So I think that's a big reason why many of the lizard teams don't get far in the playoffs, since they lack the consistency. Sure, they have the great skinks to win the matches, but at one point that skink will just get knocked out, or you don't have a team behind the skink to do anything with. So I'd say the best way for Lizards to get back to the top, to the Super Bowl win, would be to have Lizard teams who have well-developed source and focused on that rather than on only winning the matches and having the good development on the skinks.
Makes sense. The hardest part though is actually getting that development on sources, as we see,
Yeah,
week after week of dead source in the bot results.
yeah, that is true. It's really hard to keep them alive during the season against Claw, especially in the higher divisions. That's why I was very happy that I got a lot of source development down in my first season. I think my team has now scored 17 source touchdowns in 22 games, which is quite good if you like source development.
Yeah, that makes sense. Bush, 2009, coach of Safe Moves First, would like to know if a small business should delay capital acquisitions or invest heavily in to surge profits and loss.
I guess that depends on the business. I have no idea what kind of business we're talking about. But if I'd say, you definitely have to invest, but you should probably not go for the risky all-in type of investments, I guess.
Sage advice. Let's see. Is there a player that you would change or a rule that you would change to make Blood Bowl a little bit better?
A rule or play I change. Now, one thing I'd like to see is maybe making movement 9 the maximum movement value, since I think
You
natural one
don't like one
turners.
turners as a lizard coach. Interesting.
Yeah, I think I haven't done a single one turn touchdown yet for one, because I didn't had to in the first season. And the
Mm-hmm.
second part is every time I try, I get a deep kick and have no way of actually getting the ball to the skink who has to do the one turn touchdown. But I think having natural one turn touchdowners makes the whole game play differently. And it sucks if you play your best to get the turn 8 score, and then you just have very little you can do to prevent the one turn touchdown from happening.
That makes sense. Um, let's see. I think it's time for a very special surprise. So I'm gonna go ahead and pause the game, and I'm sending you something on Discord.
Okay.
I want you to open the link, but don't press play. And then when you are about to press play, or when you've got it open and you're ready to play it, let me know, and I will start it on mine as well, and we'll watch it together.
Okay, so let's see. I should probably zoom out a bit since it is.
I'm watching it on, or it'll be on the stream, but you should be able to see it.
Okay, so I'm ready to press play when
All
you
right.
are.
Play in 3, 2, 1.
Hey guys, this is Rumblebee, everyone's favorite admin, coming to you live from Sheffield Zoo in beautiful Chicago, Illinois, because I just adopted a toucan. So I've got this beautiful certificate of achievement showing that we adopted a toucan, named him Hindus, and much like the real Hindus, toucan Hindus is being a jerk. He's off in the distance over there, but he won't come out. And I tried to get them to let me into the aviary, but apparently being an admin for the largest Blood Bowl league in the world isn't good enough. So this is what we're stuck with. So Hindus, your move.
Well,
what do you have to say to that?
I guess I own a toucan now.
Yep.
Very much against my will, but Rumblebee went through a lot of trouble to get me one, so thank you very much, Rumblebee. That was a lovely introduction to my new, what do you call an adopted pet? Well, to my new toucan. It's a great gift.
Oh, that's so good. Man, now how do I follow that up? Let's see.
I have no idea.
I think I've worked my way through the list of questions that are reasonable. I'll go some not stupid, some less reasonable questions. How does cockroach milk taste?
I haven't tried yet.
Okay, that's fair. Chaos Tabulu's interesting questions. Who's your favorite sports reporter?
My favorite sports reporter. Now they all have their own flair, so it's hard to say, but I like Friday Night Rebel a lot. So probably go with Herringsword, but it's really hard to
pick. Safe.
Yeah, it's probably the one I'm watching the most, so
that's fair. Who are the next 3 coaches that will appear on Foul Language?
So who I'd like to see or who I think you would pick?
That was the question as it was written. I would like to just say, who would you like to see?
Who would I like to see? Oh, so many people. I guess I'd like to see the Wonder Twins would definitely make for an interesting interview.
Yeah, I could see that.
You could also just pick one of them, but probably you have to pick them in a package. I'd also like to see an interview with Squiggy, actually, since I see him a lot on the Discord and he's very vocal, but
I believe he's already done one.
Yeah, that was in the time before me, so maybe I'll have to find that somewhere.
Yeah, we need to compile those, make them easier for everybody to see. I think that'd help. But double check and confirm that he actually has done. Yeah, he was the number 3 episode, which is still on Metal's channel, I believe.
Okay, so I'll have to try and find that. And anyone else? So many people on the Discord. I guess an interview with our Super Bowl champion would also be really interesting. Bleeding Hippie.
That's true. I don't know if he's got one yet. Check. No, he does not. So I think that's a good pick, and quite likely a possibility. Let's see. I guess we didn't actually answer this. We talked about toucans a lot, but why specifically do you hate toucans?
Well, Metal is a big reason. he just keeps on calling me a toucan, and the picture is clearly not a toucan. I have no idea how you could mistake them.
It's true.
So I guess nothing against the animal itself, mostly because of all the banter and stuff going on.
I may know the answer to this after what we just discussed, but let's see. Pinosaurus Dosdarius on Reddit, which he's the coach of Ratskin Cracker Wreckers, so I'm not familiar with what his Blood Bowl 2 name is, but he would also like to know who your least favorite fellow Rebel admin is, and your least favorite Blood Bowl team, and your least favorite positional.
Okay, tricky questions. So I guess I start with the least favorite positional, and I'd have to go with the werewolf, just because it's the natural enemy of lizards. It's good at killing skinks, it's good at killing sauruses, it's even good at killing crocs if you can get enough assists, so I'd go with that. The next part would be the least favorite team. Now, if it's which team I'd like least to play myself, I'd probably go with Pro Elves, simply since, for one, I'm not very good with agility teams, and two, I really don't get along with them. If it's about a team I don't like to play against, Wood Elves are always a really tough matchup. I guess with any team you're playing, if it's a Wood Elf team, you'll never say, "Ooh, that's an easy matchup."
Yeah, that's especially true with skinks. Skinks are like.
And what was
from what else? Your least favorite Rebel admin.
The least favorite Rebel admin. Ooh, who do we have? Let me. Now, if it's about filling out the role as admin, I'd have to pick Hitcherus.
That's a fair and spicy answer, as you are just about finishing him up on the pitch as well.
And if it's about, I guess Gerber can be very annoying. I think when I first got there, I tried to make a new channel, and he instantly deleted it and said no. Gerber can really be a jerk.
That's great. Well, I think that's through the last list of my questions that I'm going to ask today. Do you have anything else that you'd like to share with the league?
Well, I guess I have a question for you.
Okay.
Do you prefer the Puffin or do you prefer the Toucan?
Well, after last night, I can strongly say that I prefer the Puffin.
Great.
Prior, I don't know. I can't say I interacted a lot with Puffins when I was in Iceland. And the toucans are pretty cool in the zoo. But yeah, no, I will, for now forever be a proud Puffin after the abomination that occurred.
That's very nice.
I won't spoil anything. But it's definitely a stream worth watching, and I'll be putting that one up the same time I put this video up on YouTube. So if you didn't catch that one live and you're okay with some profanity and maybe loud noises, just imagine the cliche salty streamer playing Blood Bowl. That would be that match.
Yeah, definitely check it out. Anything else I'd like to add? I guess I can make a little advertisement for our sports reporters, because they are all doing a great job. Sadly, we often don't have enough of them, which leads to them being heavily overworked.
Yeah.
So if you think a career in talking about Blood Bowl teams or talking about Blood Bowl coaches is something for you, why not give it a try? We really don't bite, and if you don't like it, you can always still leave.
It's a good plug. Good plug. I appreciate you stepping up as the head reporter of G-Man and helping me out while I cover Rel and Tomo covers Big O. But absolutely anybody out there that is interested at all, we can always try and get you in as a guest host. Some of us have really, really lazy co-hosts that only show up when they feel like it, or when it's, like a starting episode, and then after the first pre-cap episode, or nowhere to be found. Not that I'm talking about. But they've got time to go to the zoo and adopt birds. They just don't have time to make the actual recaps. Oh well. Love you anyway, Rumblebee. All right. Well, the match is over and our interview is done. Thank you so much for joining me, Hindus. It's been
it was a pleasure.
Yeah, it was a pleasure on my end as well. I look forward to seeing your Lizard team in the playoffs and casting games with you after your team is eliminated in the playoffs. And don't worry, my team won't even make it because it's Kislev.
As long as I can kill a doctor, I'm good. So
yeah, you'll probably get another shot. You never know. All right, well, that is going to do it for us. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Stay tuned to the Reddit channel. That is where I will post who's going to be up next, and you can get your questions in on the next episode of Foul Language. Have a good one.
See ya.